We're taking you all back to school. That is the key. You're all going back to school. Isn't that what you wanted? You came on just to go back to school. We're going to the school of hard knocks. Oh, you didn't? All right, Jeff. Well, you're stuck, buddy. This is the school of natural healing, the school of vitalistic healing. But we wanted to make sure that when we go over these workshops that we try to include every demographic possible. That demographic means kids and pickleball players and adults who have kids and senior adults. But when we talk about going back to school, we all need to move. Everyone needs to move. And when it comes to school time, it's very easy for us to get back in rhythm. So we're going to talk about getting back in rhythm. What are some great little exercises for you to do? If you have kids, grandkids, what things should they be doing to stay mobile when they get back to school because they're stuck in those desks all day? This is why we're doing this workshop. We want to make sure that you're happy and healthy, and we want to give you simple, effective treatments and therapies to do every day. So let's get into it. We want to go over a couple things. I want you to ask the question, is it sitting all day bad for a growing spine? I want you to think about this question. How much movement does a school-age kid need? Truly. Is a heavy backpack that much of an issue? Really? What's the best desk setup for a homework? How do you fix your kids? Well, there's no way to fix your kids. No, they're tech neck. How do we get them off the phones and tablets? How do we help kids to develop good habits young? How much sleep does a school-age kid need? And should kids see a chiropractor? We're going to address all these questions today. The back-to-school shift. Like I said, movement is the default in the summer. We're all moving more. It's nicer outside, but when school starts, everything slows down. Parents need to get back to routines. Kids get stuck in the chairs. But movement is the default. But during the school year, sitting is definitely the default. There are physical active guidelines for kids. They call for 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous movement every day. And in today's society, with so much of our brain can be stimulated without movement, without going outside, this is very unfortunate because probably only 20 to 30% of kids 6 to 17 years old are really going to hit that mark. This is where getting them in that organized sports is probably so important. Is sitting that bad? Absolutely. It's the worst. Why do you think we have our patients lay down? Because sitting puts the most stress on your spine. The discs in your spine have the most pressure when you sit versus standing. Laying down obviously is unloaded position, but sitting is horrible for your body and for your health. The longer you sit, the more your muscles become fatigued, causes you to slump, can start to affect the hips and the mid-back and the neck. And prolonged bad posture is linked to higher neck pain incidence in kids and headaches too, which that doesn't say. This goes for kids and adults. Sitting affects your spinal health, and your spine is the lifeline between your brain and your body's ability to communicate and function at its highest level. You have an innate intelligence that flows throughout your body, but it flows through the nerves. If your spine is distorted, your nerves are distorted, and your health is in dis-ease. Sitting affects a number of things. Nutrients getting to where they need to is important, and if we're not moving, they're not getting there. The discs that we talked about need hydration from movement, and when we sit, it squishes all that out. This is why we have the discs in our office on the chairs, because we want you to move and hydrate those spinal discs. In my opinion, every kid would sit on a wobble seat. Every kid. All day long. It will help with a lot of ADHD as well as bad posture. So you need your spine to move and move healthy. When they looked at 31 different studies of pre-adolescent children, that a single bout of physical activity improved attention. A single bout. So when kids are misbehaving and they're not allowed to go outside because of it, we're actually kind of adding to the problem. Ongoing active programs improves executive function in the brain, attention, and academic performance. This is why we promote for many of the teachers who are in our office to take posture breaks for themselves and for their students. Now, when you get up and stretch your body and move your body, your brain is turned on. When you don't, it starts to turn off. The biggest thing here is that if your kids are really, slacking on the homework, they're slowing down, they're just not motivated, get them up and get them active. My mom is great with this. She used to take my son and just wrestle him to get him actually back into attention. So movement is huge. Let's talk about the backpacks now. More and more kids don't go to their locker. They don't have lockers. They're carrying around more things. No technology could limit the amount of books we need. Kids are still carrying around roughly a significant amount of weight. So when we're talking about a child, if we look at the child's weight, we can really recommend only about 15% of that weight being in the backpack at the most. So 60-pound kid carries 6 to 9 pounds. 130-pound kid could carry up to 13 to 19 pounds. That's still not a lot. That's not a lot. So Anything past that is putting extra stress and strain and pressure on the joints in the back and the spine, which could affect long-term growth on a healthy spine. So what are some of the things that we make sure the kids are doing when they have backpacks? Make sure they're using both straps. We want equal pressure. Chiropractic's all about symmetry. If your body's not symmetrical, it's subluxated, and subluxations destroy our health. Make sure the straps are tightened so the backpack is as high on the shoulders as possible. It's not sagging. Some backpacks have a chest strap that will help to even the weight around the body, and obviously put the heaviest items closest to the spine or the back. If you've got the biggest book, it goes in first, and things on top of that. These are great tips. I'm sure we'll share these all the way around for parents who aren't here. So what are some of the things? We're going to talk about ways to establish healthy habits when you're getting back to school. Movement snacks, right? What's a moving snack? It's not a fish that's still alive. That's not a moving snack. Movement are the snack here. So we want 30 minutes of sitting. We need 1 to 2 minutes of movement. So for every 30 minutes of sitting, get up and move for 1 to 2 minutes. I teach this when it comes to devices or whatever it is. Just one stretch or a workout isn't going to fix everything, but if you can encourage people to move more often, the negative effects of gravity will start to ease with easy breaks. Make sure that the day is bookend. This is very important because they're the two things you can control, beginning and the end of the day, right? Movement before school and right after school does the heaviest lifting. It's the most important. Let the kids move and get active. And the middle of the day belongs to the school, so you don't have as much control there. So getting them moving right the first thing in the day is so important for long-term development of their brains. So what about homework? We've got a couple parts to this. Let's create a station where the kids do their homework. Obviously, this is good because that is a sacred space in which we know this is where things start and this is where we need to be and focused. The screen should be at eye level. Most laptops are going to be on the computer and you're looking down. There's plenty of devices on Amazon you can buy where your laptop can go inside of it and makes the screen right at eye level. Attach a keyboard to that. If you can attach a wireless keyboard to that, then you can put that computer right up like a monitor. That's huge when you're propping them up. If you don't have this fancy little laptop holder, just use books and use a separate keyboard. The feet should be flat on the ground. I have so many patients, adults, you guys still sit like with your feet up where you're sitting on your hips and your feet are underneath you. That's gonna misalign your spine. We see so much of that on x-ray. But kids get in the habit of sitting on their feet, very bad idea. Feet flat on the ground, the knees are at 90 degrees. Kids don't have the same size as adults in their bodies, so we wanna make sure that their workstation fits them, not an adult. Make sure that when they're sitting tall and that their body is in a good position with this. Elbows should be right about 90 degrees. This might mean that they either need to boost the chair up high and put a box underneath to put their feet on so that they can actually touch the ground, or you can have some desk that can be lowered. Phones and tablets are up, not down. Up, not down. When you have a light, it shouldn't be right in front, it should be from the side. Those are very important things. We don't want those shoulders shrugged up as well, so just remember that. Why is sleep so important? Well, I think we've done sleep workshops that have shown how America in general, 60% of us don't get enough sleep or quality sleep. And sleep patterns happen when you're young. We gotta teach kids good, proper getting to bed and waking up at good times that are regular. American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends 9 to 12 hours of sleep for children ages 6 to 12 and 8 to 10 hours for teens. Kids need their sleep. This is how they grow. This is how they detoxify. This is how they develop. Less sleep, scattered sleep, is going to affect attention, learning, and definitely injury risks are high. Remember these important things. Daytime activity makes falling asleep easier. Keep screens out of the bedroom and try to keep the sleep schedule consistent. This goes for you adults as well. Daytime activities make it easier to fall asleep. Screens out of the bedroom and stay on a schedule. You will have huge change in your health and your body, not just these kids. Can kids get chiropractic? Absolutely. Chiropractic is best for kids because their bodies haven't been as stressed and strained and deteriorated as adults. They can learn from a young age how to take care of their bodies, and they're more in tune with their bodies when they get an adjustment. If they need adjustments and we can remove those subluxations, their brains and their body are working at the highest level. For kids whose brains and bodies are developing rapidly, then connection matters a ton, a ton. Is it safe? Would you do that to a young baby? We adjust based on the individual, not just because of our technique. Everyone's going to see safe, simple adjustments that they can tolerate based on our assessment. And chiropractic care is very safe. Children don't need as much force maybe as an adult. But when we did a survey, they surveyed 22,000 parents. They found that 99% of them reported a positive experience. So chiropractic is one of the top-rated professions when it comes to appreciation and having a good experience. Regular checkups can catch small imbalances before they become big problems. I like to say, as the twig is bent, so grows that tree. Let's make sure the kids are growing straight. Let's recap all this stuff. This is huge. If you haven't gotten the message, movement, let us move the joints in the right way, and then you go move them at home every day. Encourage a variety of physical activities, not just one repetitive sport. Check that backpack weight. It should be 10 to 15% of the total weight of the child. Limit to screen time, especially at night. Prioritize sleep. This is when your nervous system resets and repairs. And watch for those poor posture patterns, consistently leaning to one side or slouching forward. Weigh their backpack. It's one of the checks you can do. Just weigh the backpack before, right on the scale, or put them on, then put it on and subtract. Make sure that the homework area where they're doing homework is a place where they can sit upright. There are monitors at eye level. Doing it in bed slouched over is going to be very detrimental and probably not as efficient. Make them move when they're not efficient. Do the sleep math. Make sure that kids are getting enough sleep. Consider discussing each of these things with your kids so they can understand the impact on their health. That technology is unnatural to us and very helpful. We need to learn how to use it and teach kids how to use it as well. All right, guys, move in the morning, move at night, and sleep well. Those are the keys. Have a good night.